Hello and welcome to the course. My name is Mr. Jason Moyer. I will be your instructor for Gaston College's Bio 161 Intro to Human Biology course. And even though the name of the course is Intro to Human Biology, what the course really is an introduction to human anatomy and physiology. So in this video, we'll discuss how the course will be organized, how the course is set up, how to properly use Blackboard, where you go to access lecture notes, various assignments, and then we will also talk about the software that you need to be able to access. It's called Mastering A&P. Well, first, we'll start off with going over our course syllabus. Alright, this is how our course syllabus will look. And if you have questions about anything covered in this video or anything about the course, odds are very high that the answer to your question will be found here in the syllabus somewhere. And we won't go over every single detail in the syllabus here in this video, but I do strongly encourage you to read through the syllabus before you sign off on it, because I cannot issue you a grade in the class until you have acknowledged that you agreed to the terms set forth here in the syllabus. So of course our course name, Bio 161, and our section is K6B for the spring 2018 semester. My name again, Jason Moyer. My phone numbers to reach me, my office number, and I'm located in the main campus of the college in Dallas. Here's my phone number there, and then my cell phone here. My office location, I'm in Roush 216. My email, in case you have to contact me with any questions, moyer.jason@gaston.edu. And my office hours, these are the times I will be physically in my office, and it will vary depending on the day. So Mondays and Wednesdays, 8:30 to 9:30 a.m., and then again 11 to 1. And then Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday between 9 to 1. And my preferred method of contact is either with email or with texting. That way there's a record of you contacting me, then also a record of me responding. Now, you just calling my office, it's probably not the best thing. Just stopping by my office is probably not the best thing unless you schedule an appointment ahead of time. But I always have my phone with me, so I'm able to check my email and check text, obviously. All right, course description. It's a basic survey of human biology. And we'll talk a lot about medical terminology, about various body systems, and the basic organization of the human body. Going down to the course format. Of course, this is a purely online course. Everything that you will do will be purely online. We will never see one another in person unless you make an appointment and come by my office. So it's very, very important that you are able to have a reliable and stable internet connection in order to complete all of our assignments. And there are also computer labs on all three campuses of the college, if that's an issue for you. Our textbook and course materials. Textbook, Essentials of Human Anatomy and Physiology, the 12th edition by Elaine Marieb. And then the software, which I'll talk more about here in a few moments, Modified Mastering A&P from Pearson Higher Education. Every assignment that we will do in this class, except for the very first one, is done through Modified Mastering A&P. So it is absolutely crucial that you're able to log into the software, be comfortable with it, and be able to use it correctly. Otherwise, you will lose points when you shouldn't be losing points. See, some other course requirements, of course, internet connection, access to Blackboard. The Gaston College will use Office 365 for classes. They are available to be downloaded for free for students. So if that is an issue for you, please contact our tech services department, and they'll be able to get you hooked up with that. This next point is in bold for a reason. Not having the software or not being able to access the internet is not an excuse for missing assignments, for not turning in assignments on time. You are registered for an online class. It is assumed that you have access and reliable access to an internet connection, so that it is not an excuse for not turning in work. Alright, next part we'll talk about are the course details. The first one, class attendance and participation, is the college policy that any student must be an active participant in the class for 90% or more of the time. And for a class like this, if you get behind, it's very easy to get way behind very quickly. So if you are not an active participant in the class, you aren't going to do well anyway. If it gets to a point where you are missing week after week, then I, as the instructor, have the right to remove you from the class and to issue you an F. I don't like to do something like that, but I have done it in the past. Alright, to be considered an active participant in the class, you must turn in some assignment each week. And every single week we'll have a study module that's due, and then a chapter quiz due every single week. Withdrawal process. It is your responsibility as a student to withdraw from a course if you think that you need to. Don't just think that, well, I just won't do any more work, and then he'll recognize that, and then he will withdraw me. Now, that is possible, but then that is not. If you withdraw from a class, you get a W on your transcript. But that W does not impact your GPA. Getting an F definitely has an impact on your GPA. And the deadline to withdraw from a course for the spring 2018 semester is here in bold and in red. It is April 10th, 2018. If you are on a class roster after that deadline, you must receive a grade, A, B, C, D, or F. If you try to withdraw yourself after that deadline, you automatically get an F. If I try to withdraw you after that deadline, you automatically get an F. So if you are not sure whether or not you need to stick around in the class, definitely talk to me before this point. All right, now we'll talk about probably the most important thing that most of you who are watching are going to be most interested in, is how the grades will be calculated for this course. And the final grades are determined by a sum of various assignments throughout the course. We have chapter quizzes, we have study modules, we have a midterm and final exam, we have a project called the General Education Outcome Project, and then the very first assignment that you'll do is called the Discussion Board Icebreaker. Now this point is in red and in bold, and this is something that is a college policy, it's not my individual policy. For every online class, you have to submit an assignment within the very first week of the course. If you do not submit that assignment within the first week, you will be removed from the course. And for most online classes, almost all instructors do is, we have what's called a discussion board icebreaker. And that will be found on Blackboard. And for this class, it must be submitted by 11:59 p.m. this Friday, January 12th. If you try to submit it after that deadline, there's no guarantee that you will still be in the course. But it has to be turned in before that deadline. That doesn't mean start it at that time. That means it must be submitted before that deadline. And all the icebreaker is a way to introduce yourself to your classmates and to me also. And when we get into how Blackboard is organized, I will mention this assignment again. But this assignment must be done within the first 5 days of the class. Alright, the next point, there will be a study module due each week and a chapter quiz due each week. The chapter quizzes will be made available just after midnight on Fridays of each week. So basically just after midnight on Thursday, where it becomes 12:01 a.m. on Friday formally. And the quizzes will be available all day Friday, all day Saturday, and up until 11:59 p.m. on Sunday of that week. So you have all weekend to turn in that quiz. After that deadline is reached, the quiz will go away and you will not be able to take it at all. The study modules, these will be available all throughout the semester, but the weekly assignments are going to be due by Friday nights of each week at 11:59. So let's say that we are in, say, Chapter 10, and you want to go back and review the study module for Chapter 1. Well, you'll be able to do that because the modules are available all throughout the whole semester. But the assignments for each module are due by Fridays of each week. As the last bullet point I already mentioned, you must complete at least one assignment each week to be considered active. If I see that you are missing week after week after week, then you'll probably get to the point where I'm going to take you out of the class. Alright, this table is how the course will be calculated. There are 13 chapter quizzes at 75 points each, so that's a total of 975 points. There are 13 study modules at 20 points each, a total of 260. The midterm and final exam are 250 points each. The discussion board icebreaker is 200 points. And something I'll talk more about a little later on in the video, the GEO project, or the General Education Outcome Project, is 65 points. So there are a total of 2,000 points available to be earned in the course. For the grading scale, this is something that is standard throughout the Arts and Science Division of the college. We work on a 10-point grading scale. So 90% and higher is an A, 80 to 89% is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, and so on. Makeup policy. You are responsible for the material in this class. The modules are available the entire semester. You have several days to take any major test or major quizzes. So there really is no excuse to miss an assignment. So for that reason, there are no makeups for any unexcused absence. Now, if something were to come up in an emergency situation, obviously that will be handled a little bit differently. So late work will not be accepted, and there's also no extra credit available for this class. When it comes to viewing grades, all grades will be posted within 24 hours of that assignment's deadline. So if you have a quiz due on Sunday nights, by Monday afternoons, usually all the grades will be posted, if not before then. Here is our general schedule for the course. We'll start with Chapter 1, the human body and orientation. Then go on to basic chemistry, cells and tissues, skeletal system, muscular system, and then nervous system. And then we'll have our midterm exam. And this will cover information covered by these first 6 chapters here. After that, we'll move into the endocrine system, blood, cardiovascular system, respiratory system, digestive system, including metabolism, urinary system, and then the reproductive system. And then we will have our final exam. Our final exam is not cumulative. It will cover information from the midterm on. So basically from Chapter 9 on. So you can think of this as a second midterm exam. It only covers half of this semester. The final exam will be available online starting on Friday, May the 4th at 4 p.m. That is the standard starting time for all online courses. I can't make this happen any sooner. This is not my decision to make. So that's the earliest that we can make any online class exam available will be that day at that time. And at the end of the syllabus, there's the signature page. And by signing this, you are agreeing to the terms that are set forth in the syllabus. And like I mentioned before, I can't issue a grade for you unless you have turned this in. So next thing we'll go over, students' rights and responsibilities. As a student, this is what you have the right to expect. The first day of class, the instructor will provide students with a course syllabus, and we'll go over course objectives, grading policies, and classroom policies, which is what we're doing now in this video. So class sessions will start and end on time. Not really applicable for our kind of class because it is online. The assignments are graded, returned within a timely manner. Like I said, the grades will be posted within 24 hours of their deadline. Students will regularly use the text and other course materials as stated. As an instructor, this is what I have the right to expect from you, the student. Students will read the syllabus and ask for clarification if needed. Students will submit assignments that have been completed independently on time, and then the students will obtain and use all the course materials that are required from the course. Next thing we'll talk about is the SPSP, Student Persistence and Success Plan. Now, as your instructor, it is my duty to make sure that you are doing the best that you can in this class. If there are some issues that come up that are prohibiting you from doing well in the class, maybe there's a financial issue that's come up and you can't afford to get the software or you can't afford to get the textbooks, then let me know and let the college know. Well, there are ways to help students with difficulties like that. So if you want to contact me directly, you can, or if you want to contact the Office of Persistence and Retention directly, there's their office and there's their phone number. Student behavior policies. Any kind of behavior that is prohibiting other students from learning or doing well in the class won't be tolerated, but any kind of inappropriate behavior online, especially when it comes to the discussion board postings, won't be tolerated, and I will remove students from the course if I think I need to. Academic dishonesty. The bottom line for all this is cheating will not be tolerated, and there are multiple categories of cheating. If it's determined that you have been cheating, not only will you be kicked out of the course, you'll be kicked out of the college. So it really is not worth it to try to cheat on any assignments, no matter how big, no matter how small, because the penalty that you will incur is far greater than any benefit you got out of cheating. Alright, if there are any concerns or questions about me, definitely feel free to contact me directly. We can discuss that. If you think you need to go to my bosses, here are their names and their contact information. The chairman of the Science and Math Department, Dr. Armstrong, her office location, her phone number, her email. And then the interim dean of the Arts and Science Division, Ms. Tanya Broom, her office, her phone number, her email. ADA statement. If you feel that you have a need to receive an accommodation for the class, I can't just take your word for it. That kind of thing has to be documented by the college. If you think that is a legitimate concern or legitimate issue, you are encouraged to contact the special need counselors, and here's their phone number there. So without any documentation from the college, I can't grant you any special accommodation. Alright, this last page is the signature page that I mentioned earlier. And like I said, there are a few ways you can handle this. You can either print this out, sign it, and send me a picture with your signature on it, or probably the fastest way is just to send me a quick email saying, I, then your name, have read, understand, and agreed to abide by the statements in the syllabus. And make sure you put your name, and then the semester, and then the course. And again, definitely take the time to look through everything in here before you sign that, because you never want to sign anything without reading it all completely. And this is a good rule to have in general. Alright, so now we've gone over the syllabus. Now we'll go over how Blackboard will look, and also how Mastering A&P will look. Alright, when you first sign into Blackboard, this is what you'll see. Now please keep in mind that the way that mine looks will be a little bit different compared to yours, since I am the instructor. But when you first log in, you'll get to the announcements page, and I'll be posting a welcome announcement very early on Monday morning, January 8th, and I will also email that out to everyone in the class also. And every announcement will be kept here in chronological order. So the next time I do an announcement, probably in the middle of this first week, the announcement that's here will be moved down. So the full list of every announcement that I make throughout the semester will be kept here on this page. They'll just get moved further and further down. And because this is an online course, I highly recommend looking at these announcements a few times each week, just to make sure that you are up to date with any kind of changes in schedule, any kind of changes with information. See, over here you'll have links to what we will be using throughout the course. We'll start with the course information. Here is where you'll find links to the syllabus, which we just went over, course schedule, which I'll mention here in a second, the grading policy and the participation policy. Both of these are taken right from the course syllabus, but they are more isolated. The text for each of these is no different than what's in the syllabus. It's just having one link to go to just the grading policy, having one link to go just to the participation policy. But the thing that you'll want to spend a lot of time on is this one, the course schedule for the spring semester. And on this page is a list of every single assignment that you have the entire semester and when they are due by. So there's absolutely no excuse to not know when something is due, because the dates have already been announced before the class has even started. And remember, these are the deadlines when they are due by. You can turn them in before then. So like I mentioned earlier, the discussion board icebreaker is due before Friday the 12th, just before midnight. The Chapter 1 study module is also due before January 12th, just before midnight. Then your Chapter 1 quiz will be due before Sunday, January 14th. So again, every module is due by Friday nights, every quiz is due by Sunday nights. So every single thing that we need for the entire course is here. Alright, next, faculty information. This information is taken right from the course syllabus also. It just has my email address, my phone numbers, office location, and my office hours. So this is no different than what's already been presented to you in the course syllabus. Alright, next, lecture notes and lecture videos. These will be in small groups of 2 or 3 chapters at a time. So as you can see, the first 6 chapters that we cover, the notes are available. So if you click on, say, this folder here, the notes that you need are here all in PowerPoint. And what I've also done is included these lecture videos. What I've done is I've recorded a video like I'm doing here with this video now, but for each individual lecture. And it's the same lecture I would give to a seated class. And it does not matter to me if you just watch the videos, or just do the PowerPoints, or if you do both. Whatever is easier for you in order to retain information more efficiently. Alright, we'll come back to Mastering A&P in a second. I want to discuss the discussion board. Because this is an online class, I will be checking this discussion board multiple times a day. Every single chapter has its own individual thread. Of course, the first column here, the icebreaker, this is where you will put your icebreaker posting for the first week of class. It doesn't have to be 2 pages long, but I do want more than just one line also. But you can discuss your name, where you're from, why you're taking the class, what kind of program that you're in, and any concerns that you may have about the class. So you can go ahead and share all those here. If you have a general question about the class, You can put it here. If you have a question about the course that's not covered by the video or the syllabus, the odds are someone else in the class has the same question you do. After that, every single chapter has their own thread. And I do ask that you keep the questions in their corresponding chapters. So if you have a question, say about chapter 3, don't put it in chapter number 10's thread. Next, we'll go into Mastering A&P, where you'll be spending a large amount of your time for the course. From here, you'll be able to access all the assignments that are listed in Mastering A&P, the electronic textbook, the study area, and then getting to the main page. But there are always issues that come up with Mastering A&P, how to access it correctly. And because this is so vital, we'll discuss the various issues that come up with Mastering A&P first, then we'll come back to this page to get into more details on the software. Alright, first of all, Mastering A&P is required for this course. Every study module is done through Mastering A&P. Every chapter quiz is done through Mastering A&P. Your midterm and your final are all based from Mastering A&P. So you must have an access, or you must be able to log in and use that software correctly. Because if you don't, you're not going to do well in the course. Secondly, you will need an access code to log in and to use Mastering A&P. Now, students fall into one of 3 categories typically when it comes to this software. 1, you bought a brand new textbook from the bookstore on campus and it has the access code with it. Or you bought a new textbook from the bookstore and it doesn't have the access code. Or 3, you have either rented the book or you bought the book from someplace other than our bookstore. Kindle, Amazon, so on. So we'll go over what you need to do in each of these situations. Alright, first, if you bought the new textbook from our bookstore and it has access code, then you are fine. You don't need to do anything. Just make sure that you're able to log in to Mastering A&P, but you log in from Blackboard. Do not go through the publisher's website. Log in from Blackboard, because all you need is the access code that's given to you within the book. If you don't log in from Blackboard directly, I won't see that you have completed the work. And if I don't see that you've done it, then I'm going to assume that you didn't, and you'll get a 0. Alright, second, this is the one that's the most involved. If you bought a brand new textbook from the bookstore and it doesn't have the access code, you can return it for one that does have the code. But you must have the receipt in order to exchange the books, because you cannot exchange the books without one. If you bought the book using your financial aid, your receipt can be looked up through a database, even if you don't have your paper receipt. Make sure that when you're getting the new book, that it says Modified Mastering A&P. If it doesn't have the word modified in it, then you're getting something different. So you must be using Modified Mastering A&P. If you don't have the receipt, then you must buy an access code from the publisher directly. There's no way I can get around that. But if you use financial aid to buy it, your receipt can be looked up. But if you pay it out of pocket, or if you can't find a receipt, you have to purchase it from the publisher directly. And scenario number 3, you either rented the book or you bought it from somewhere else other than the Gaston College bookstore, then you must buy the access code from the publisher. And there are 2 formats you can buy it in. One comes with an electronic textbook, and one doesn't. It depends on what you want. The one that has a textbook is a little more expensive than the one that doesn't, but of course you're getting more information and more resources. Alright, so now we covered the issues that come up with Mastering A&P. Now we'll get into how it looks when you log in and what everything does. Alright, so getting back to the details of Mastering A&P. See, I mentioned this one first, the Pearson eText. This is the electronic version of the textbook. So when you click on that, you'll have this available to you. Now, some people prefer to have the actual physical textbook in their hand, but this is no different than the hard copy textbook that you can buy. So exactly the same chapters, exactly the same information, just in an online form. See, study area. From here, there are various practice tests you can take, access to some flashcards, some interactive animations, some study information by individual chapters. So this is a very good resource to get some more practice on these individual chapters if you think you need it. So definitely take some time to poke around here and look at this. But for most part, people will spend most of their time here on mastering assignments. Again, keep in mind that mine will look a little bit different than yours. There are 2 ways you can look at all the assignments. You can look at it in a calendar form like this, or if you click up here under list view, everything is listed in a table format, both when they are available and then when they are due by. So if you go back to the calendar view, every type of assignment has their own color on this calendar. So for the study modules, they're this kind of salmon peach color, I guess. If you hover over each one, it tells you whether or not they are available and then when they're due by. So for this first one, chapter number 1, of course it's available already. All modules are always available, the entire course. And this one will be due Friday, January 12th by 11:59. The quizzes are in this light Carolina blue. So for your first one, currently it is not available. It will not be posted until Friday the 12th at 12:01 a.m. and it is due before the 14th, just before midnight. Now this one here is listed as an assignment, but it's not really an assignment. It's really a tutorial. It's called Introduction to Mastering A&P. This helps you to get a feel for the software, how to take certain kinds of quizzes, how things work. And again, this is not an assignment. This is not homework. This is a tutorial, so you get a better feel for what you'll be doing. Because again, every single assignment except for one in the entire course is done through Mastering A&P. If you are not comfortable with it, it's going to be very difficult for you to do well in the course. And when it comes to the quizzes will be timed. Each quiz will be approximately 25 questions. Alright, so that covers a good introduction to what we'll do for this course. I'll send out a welcome message with some reminders about our first week and the assignments that are due the first week, which include the discussion board icebreaker, chapter 1 study module, and a chapter 1 quiz. All of those are critically important to do the first week. All right, if you have any questions, either about the video or about the course in general, and please feel free to contact me. And again, the preferred methods are with email or with the text. All right, so thank you for watching, and good luck this semester.